Friday, I went and got my beard shaped up by this dude I know named Rick that grew up, or not grew up, but went to high school and hung out with. Remember that dude Larry I was telling you all about, a friend of mine, that black kid, suburban kid, parents had money, basically a clone of myself. Well, him. Well, he had this step pop, and this is why you would never want to be a step pop. This is really, it's a long, kind of drawn out story, but if you follow it, it's like there's no reason after this. When I break this story, when I just tell this story, how you're not gonna ever want to be a stepfather. Okay, so Larry had this stepfather named Eric, and I can't even say he was a beta male provider because he came along, married Larry's mother. Larry's mother fell victim to a pookie that made, and that's what Larry's a victim of, a suburban black chick and a pookie. That's what Larry is, the product of that. And then Eric comes along and marries her when Larry's, we were 12 at the time. So Larry was, I don't know, maybe 10. So they got married. And, he's playing a role like he built the business that Larry's grandfather built. Like he came along and became second in command over Larry's mom and under Larry's grandfather. But he acted like he did all the shit. That's the impression I got because I came along after he had already built himself up. You know, jeans and a tweed jacket and boat shoes and shit. Just, because Larry told me before they got married, he was a photographer and wasn't making any money. So anyway, Larry resented him. And then the mother, Trina, and Eric had a daughter named Erica. So that further cemented him in being that beta male provider role. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with like the Northeast, but we're going to have one now that it's like a snowstorm, or rain, called a nor'easter. Well, they had one back in '99, and Larry and them, they had money, so they had property, and the water accumulated and made it look like it was a little lake out in the field by where they lived. And the little girl and two of her friends, they decided to go swimming in it, and there was this drain that was used to suck the water out. And they got sucked down into the drain, and two of those girls drowned. And one of them was Larry's sister, Erica. It was just a tragic thing that had happened. And, I was away at college when it happened, and my mom called me up and told me about it. It was terrible. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm telling you now, if you have a child and it dies, if that happens to the people, if it happens to you or it happens to a couple they're either going to become closer together or further apart. Larry's mom and Eric, they became further apart. They ended up getting divorced. Eric divorce raped Trina and got the business and they got properties, because I remember they bought the properties in '87. Me and Larry worked on them, helped them clean them up to get them ready to rent to people. He took them and broke it off, and then that was it. Eventually, it's tragic everywhere. Larry's mom ended up hitting the streets in Atlantic City, living in hotels. Yeah. And Eric died. Eric ended up dying. And when he died, Trina and Larry, went to the funeral, and there was no mention at all of them, the daughter Erica, Larry, or his mother in the obituary at the funeral, because my mom went to it. I didn't go to it. And I actually saw Eric a couple times too. I was like, hey, Eric, do you remember me? I'm Jimmy. And he acted like he didn't remember me and didn't remember any of that. I was like, yo, you remember you took us to go see Run DMC? Eric, remember when I talk about how I say I ain't get to go see the wrestling? Eric would have been the one to take us to go see that, because he took us to see Run DMC and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I'm old school, man. But you don't want to be a stepfather. Rest in peace, Eric.